Hi everyone, in our last video we looked at the left outer join. It's the most common way to blend data because it keeps everything from your main left table. Today we are going deep into the outer join types. Right join, inner join, full outer join and cross join. I'll explain the use cases for each and show you exactly how they differ. I'm going to use the same two datasets from the previous video, but I've shortened them to 10 rows each to make the differences easier to see. First, let's talk about the right outer join. Think of this as the exact opposite of the left join. In a right join, the table on the right side is now the main master table. It keeps all the rows from the right data set and only matches what it can find from the left. For example, in my sales data set, I'll delete the first row and see what happens to my table in Looker Studio. Now here I have only 9 rows, but I'll change the join type to right join. Save the result and refresh the data. Now January 1st appears in the table, and we see ad spend and the revenue just shows as null. Most people don't use right joins often. Usually it's easier to just swap the order of your tables and keep using a left join. But it's a great emergency fix if you've already built a complex plan and realize your tables are in the wrong order. Next is the inner join. This is the strictest join type. An inner join only keeps rows that exist in both datasets. If a date is missing from either the left table or the right table, that entire row is deleted from your final chart. Let's see this in action. I have no row for January 1st in my sales dataset, and notice that this date still exists in my marketing dataset. And then I'll do the opposite. I'll delete January 2nd from the marketing data set, but leave it in sales. Now let's change the join type in Looker Studio and check the results. Even though both datasets still have 9 rows of data, my final table only shows 8 rows because only those 8 dates exist in both places. January 1st and January 2nd didn't have a partner in the other table, so the inner join excluded them completely. And remember, to get into an inner join table, the data must be in both sources. Now we have the full outer join. If the inner join is the strictest type, the full outer join is the most generous. It keeps all rows from both data sets, even if there isn't a match. Let's change our join type to full outer join and see what happens to those missing rows. Now, look at that. Our table is back to 10 rows. Now, there is one very important thing to notice here. Because we are keeping everything from both sides, we now have two separate date columns. Date column from the marketing table and from the sales table. And if you look closely at the table, you will see a gap for January 1st in the sales date column and a gap for January 2nd in the marketing date column. This happens because those dates simply don't exist in those specific data sets. To fix this and create one single clean date column, we use a function called calllist, where we select the columns we want to add. And this function tells Looker Studio to look at the first date column, and if it's empty, use the date from the second column instead. And now both January 1st and January 2nd have fully reappeared in one column. However, because the actual metric data only exists in one of the two tables, Looker Studio will still show a null for the missing information. So we have a null value for revenue for January 1st and null value for ad spend for January 2nd. But still, full auto join is the most generous type. And for example, if you aren't sure which join type to use or you don't know your data well yet, start with a full auto join. It allows you to see everything that's available in both sources. You can then explore the result and decide if you want to switch to a stricter join type later. Finally, we have the cross join. This one is a bit different because it doesn't use a join key at all. Instead, it takes every single row from table A and connects it to every single row from table B. For example, if you have 10 rows in table A and 10 rows in table B, a cross join will result in 100 rows. And the best way to use this is when you need to calculate a single high-level metric, like a total KPI. Let's say I want to find the total return on investment for the entire period. To do that, I'll pull revenue from my sales data set and ad spend from my marketing data set. In Looker Studio, I'll change the join type to cross join, and I'm not adding the date column as a dimension here because I want both metrics to be aggregated into one single total. Next, I'll save the result and add a scorecard. Make sure it uses a blended data source. And now I'll add a calculated field. I'll also change the data type and save the result. And there we have it, the total metric calculated across both data sets. This is a quick and easy way to get a big picture number without worrying about matching up every single data row. So data blending in Looker Studio is really powerful and it can help to resolve a lot of complicated problems. Thanks for watching. See you. Bye.